5 years after we broke up, a call from Isabella Vance flashed across my screen. I answered. "Ethan," she said, her voice dripping with unearned confidence. "City Hall. 5 days. We're getting married." She didn't wait for a response. "The wedding will be at Crestview Manor. You haven't forgotten the wedding of the century you promised me, have you?" My brain stalled. A stunned laugh escaped me. "Isabella, didn't we break up 5 years ago?" A delicate laugh came through the phone. "Break up? I don't recall agreeing to that." Her tone shifted. "You rushed back to the States the second you heard I was getting married, didn't you?" "Relax," she continued. "The groom is you. As for Leo, I expect you to be the bigger person. He was there for me during the 1,800 days you were gone. I'm sure you can find it in your heart to accept him." I just shook my head, a bitter smile on my face, and hung up. The moment I did, a few lines of text materialized in the air before me, shimmering like a heat haze. The male lead leaves for 5 years without a word. Don't be fooled by Isabella's tough talk. Her heart is shattered. Isabella putting out the news that she's marrying Leo Sterling is just a ploy to give the male lead the grand wedding he deserves. See? The moment he's back in the country, she comes running. Isabella could have come running years ago. But now, I had a beautiful wife and 2 wonderful children. Who the hell needed her brand of crazy? I powered off my phone, tossing the device, now being bombarded by a storm of texts and calls, onto the couch. Later that night, a relentless, pounding noise echoed through the house. "Open the door. Ethan, how long are you going to keep this act up?" The shouting was loud enough to wake the dead, let alone the neighbors. I yanked the front door of the villa open. Isabella, looking slightly disheveled, stumbled to a halt. Her eyes locked on my face, then swept down my body in a dismissive once-over. "Fisk," she sneered. "Is this what you've become without me? Pathetic." I glanced down. In my haste, I'd thrown on one of my dad's old, worn-out t-shirts. It was comfortable and breathable, but far from stylish. I was about to speak, but she cut me off. "All right, since you know you were wrong and you're finally back, I won't hold the way you stormed off against you." Her expression shifted, the faint smile vanishing. "But I can't forgive you for punching Leo. Now that we're getting married, all thanks to his blessing, I expect you to apologize to him." She continued, her voice softening into a lecture. "Leo is a kind, sincere soul. He took care of me while you were gone. Because of you, I can't give him the title he deserves, but I want you to treat him like a brother. We'll give him a family, together." 1,000 profanities screamed through my mind, but my face remained a mask of indifference. I was no longer the hot-headed kid from 5 years ago, and Isabella Vance no longer had the power to get under my skin. If I showed any anger, she'd just mistake it for jealousy of Leo. "Isabella, what on earth makes you think you're still the one?" I asked, my voice flat. "Have you ever considered that 5 years is a long time? Long enough for me to get married and have kids?" Her gaze swept over my face again, and she let out a short, mocking laugh. "In our entire social circle, who doesn't know you were my pathetic little puppy?" she said. "You've had a foul temper since we were kids, always acting rashly. Who else but me would ever put up with you? Ethan, your family is washed up now. What prominent family would ever let their daughter marry you? It's only me. I'm the only one willing to let you marry into the Vance family." Huh. The laugh escaped before I could stop it. Isabella and I were from families of equal standing, engaged since we were children. Though it was an arranged union, we had been genuinely close. I had promised her a lavish, fairy tale wedding at Crestview Manor after graduation. But before that could happen, she hit and killed Leo Sterling's grandmother while learning to drive. The old woman's dying wish was for Isabella to look after him. And just like that, he became a permanent fixture, stuck to her like glue. Leo constantly provoked me until one day, I finally snapped and punched him. Isabella threw herself in front of him, her face a mask of disappointment. "You know how much he's been through. He's already lost his only family. I'm all he has left. Can't you just cut him some slack? In my heart, he's my little brother, and you'll be his brother-in-law. Can you please stop being so petty? I guess I've been spoiling you. You need to cool off." Her idea of cooling off was to ghost me for 3 months while she and Leo were seen all over town playing the happy couple. The rumor mill decided she had dumped me for a younger boy toy. I left her a simple message, "We're done," and booked a one-way ticket to Paris. I never expected that trip would lead me to the woman who is now my wife. "You're smiling," Isabella said, a triumphant look on her face. "I knew you still had feelings for me. Why else would you smile at me?" She reached out to touch my face. I stepped back, my smile vanishing. "I just have a happy disposition. Sorry if you got the wrong idea, Ms. Vance." Isabella shook her head, a patronizingly fond smile on her lips. Ethan, you're still as stubborn as ever. Fine, but once you marry into the Vance family, you'll have to learn to be more obedient. She leaned in conspiratorially. I know how much you love me. I'll repay your 5 years of waiting with the most perfect wedding imaginable. Seeing her lost in her own fantasy, I decided the conversation was over and moved to shut the door. She stuck her foot in the way, and the door clamped down on it. Her eyes instantly welled with tears. I paused. A hopeful look crossed her face. I knew it. You do care about me. I allowed a soft chuckle. Sorry, could you move? You're blocking the door. Seeing me prepare to close it again, she quickly pulled her foot back. The door clicked shut with a solid thud. I left her with one final sentence, spoken through the heavy wood. Isabella, get lost. We were over a long time ago. The shimmering text appeared again. Good news. The female lead finally speaks her mind. Bad news. With a mouth like that, it would have been better if she were mute. Now I get why the male lead left. She deserves everything that's coming to her. This is going to be epic. I seriously want to slap her. Male lead, please find someone else. I'm begging you. Outside, Isabella stared at the closed door, her expression morphing into one of smug certainty. Ethan, you're the same as always. You lash out when you're embarrassed. Fine, I won't come in today. Her voice carried easily through the door. I'll have a suit sent over tomorrow for you to try on. Leo already tried it on for you. It fit him perfectly, and you two are about the same size, so it should fit you as well. My self-control was the only thing stopping me from kicking the door down and screaming at her. I suddenly regretted not coming back to the States with my wife in a few days as planned. I slammed my fist against the door, a silent command for her to shut up. Isabella's brow furrowed on the other side. Ethan, you really need to work on that temper. When you're a Vance, you can't act like this. It's not high society. You should learn a thing or two from Leo. In the last couple of years, my family had shifted its business focus overseas, leaving only minor ventures in the U.S. In Isabella's eyes, this meant the Hayes family was on the brink of bankruptcy. My parents had already moved abroad to enjoy their retirement and dote on their grandchildren, taking the household staff with them. Right now, I was the only one in the villa. If I weren't, I would have had security drag her off the property. Isabella, if you care about Leo so much, why don't you just marry him? I said, and I meant it sincerely. I was grateful she didn't marry me back then. Otherwise, I never would have met my incredible wife. Leo, the snake, and Isabella, the narcissist, they were a perfect match. Her laughter echoed from the other side of the door. Ethan, you're jealous again. How many times do I have to tell you? My heart only has room for you. I will never reciprocate Leo's feelings. Now just be a good boy, wait for your suit, and get ready to be my groom. As her footsteps faded away, a wave of helplessness washed over me. It was like arguing with a brick wall. Fine. In a few days, my wife would be here as a diplomatic envoy. My parents were bringing the kids back, too. Once Isabella saw them, surely she'd finally get the message and leave me alone. The next morning, just as she'd promised, a suit from the Vance family arrived. It was in a designer box, which I didn't bother to open. Once you've worn a suit custom-tailored to be one of a kind, why would you care about a second-hand hand-me-down that someone else has already tried on? Isabella's assistant, Chris, handed me a gold-embossed invitation. I glanced at the groom's name. Leo Sterling was printed neatly, then crossed out with a pen. Ethan Hayes was scrawled beside it. I laughed and tossed the invitation back at him. Chris, I think you've got the wrong person. You should probably give this suit to Mr. Sterling. I'm sure he'd be thrilled to have it. Chris's face contorted in anger. Ethan, this was supposed to be Ms. Vance and Mr. Sterling's wedding. You're the one who swooped in and made her change her mind, and now you're playing innocent? He sneered. I really don't get what she sees in you. To hurt a man like Mr. Sterling, who loves her so much. All for you. Like recognizes like, I guess. Stupidity must be contagious. Ignoring Chris's yapping, I walked away. I hadn't been back in years and was craving a meal from Aria, an old favorite private kitchen. Maybe my luck was just shot lately, because my car broke down halfway there. I ended up calling an Uber. As I stepped out of the car at the restaurant's entrance, I saw Isabella getting out her own vehicle. She wore an I knew it expression. First you refused the suit I sent, and then you follow me straight to Aria. Ethan, can you stop being so ridiculously transparent? She strode toward me. I know you care about me, but this stalking is pathetic. You're jealous of Leo's presence in my life, but if I wanted to be with him, I would have done it years ago. I scoffed silently and walked past her toward the restaurant entrance. Isabella hurried to catch up, grabbing my arm. Ethan, stop pretending. I saw you pull up in an Uber. Did the Hayes family really go bankrupt? Are you so poor you can't even afford a car anymore? Her voice dripped with condescending pity. I'm not looking down on you, but you have no business being in a place like Aria now. Don't try to save face. When the bill comes and you can't pay, don't come crying to me. She thought my family was broke because she saw me take an Uber? I genuinely couldn't comprehend her logic. I took a deep breath, silently repeating my mantra, don't argue with an idiot. Unclenching my fists, I said in the calmest voice I could manage, I think you need to get your head checked. Isabella's knowing smile returned. You still remember I love walnuts? Fine. I won't hold this against you. It's a good thing you're here. Anyway, Isabella continued, pulling me along. I'm meeting my girlfriends, and Leo is here too. Since everyone's present, you can finally apologize to him, and we can put all that old drama behind us. I pulled my foot back from the threshold of Aria. My appetite had vanished. Even the best food in the world would taste like ash if I had a look at her face. As I turned to leave, a figure blocked my path. Ethan, why are you leaving the second you see me? Leo Sterling stood there, no longer the plainly dressed kid from years ago. He was decked out in designer clothes and a flashy watch, looking every bit the part of the kept man, though he was still a good head shorter than me. He shot a wounded look at Isabella before turning his sad eyes back to me. Are you angry about the invitations, Ethan? You were gone for 5 years without a word. When Isabella suddenly announced the wedding, everyone just assumed I was the groom. That's why my name was printed by mistake. He sighed dramatically. If you're going to blame someone, blame me. I couldn't control my feelings for her. Those 5 years we spent together, they mean the world to me. But because she loves you, I'm willing to give her back. As he spoke, the corners of his eyes turned red. Leo, don't cry. Isabella grabbed his hand, her voice thick with sympathy, before glaring at me. Ethan, I thought you changed, but you're still the same impulsive jerk. I haven't said a single word, I stated, meeting her gaze, my eyes cold as ice. Isabella flinched for a second, then softened her tone. Ethan, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You don't understand how sensitive Leo is because of his tragic past. You may not have said anything, but your attitude alone is enough to hurt him deeply. She looked at me expectantly. I want you to apologize to Leo. You're going to be his brother-in-law. After all, you should protect him. A cold smile touched my lips. Who's his brother-in-law? Did I say I was going to marry you? My voice dropped. And another thing, did I cause his tragic past? As I recall, it was you who ran over his. Shut up. Isabella's face was a mask of disappointment. Ethan, if you still want to marry into the Vance family, then stop this nonsense. Isabella, what's so great about him? One of her friends had appeared, flanked by the rest of her clique. He ran off to another country without a word, leaving you to cry your eyes out every day. If Leo hadn't been there for you, you would have cried yourself blind. Yeah, Isabella, another chimed in. We've all seen how good Leo has been to you. He waited 5 years. We all think he's the one who deserves you. A third friend turned on me, her eyes full of scorn. If I were you, Ethan, I'd be too ashamed to even stand here. You're the one who abandoned her, and now you can't stand to see her happy with Leo, so you come back to ruin everything. You're disgusting. I just stood there, speechless. The group had come out of their private room to find us and had immediately closed ranks to attack me. Leo leaned his head on Isabella's shoulder, his eyes red-rimmed as he began to sob. He pulled a heavy signet ring from his thumb and held it out to me, his hand trembling. Ethan, your mother gave this to me. She said only the man who marries into the Vance family is worthy of wearing it. Today, I return to its rightful owner. Isabella intercepted his hand, gently sliding the ring back onto his thumb. My mother gave it to you. That makes it yours. Don't feel like you have to give it up. A blissful smile spread across Leo's face, which then froze as Isabella added, Don't worry about Ethan. I've already bought a flawless emerald. I'm having it made into a ring for him, as compensation. My own face went stiff. I sighed, enunciating each word with forced patience. I am married, and I have 2 children. A stunned silence fell over the group. But Isabella, after a moment, calmly let go of Leo's hand, walked over to me, and burst out laughing. Ethan, don't tell such ridiculous jokes. Being angry is one thing, but making up a lie this big. She smirked. Already checked. Your official marital status is unmarried. It's impossible for you to have children. Or what, did you get pregnant yourself 5 years ago and run off to have my babies? Her friends erupted in laughter. Leo shot me a look of pure, unadulterated jealousy. I silently pulled out my phone, ready to show them pictures of my 2 adorable babies. As if on cue, a video call came through. I answered it, and the screen filled with the faces of 2 identical, chubby-cheeked toddlers. Daddy! 2 tiny, cheerful voices chirped in unison, capturing everyone's attention. Isabella's breath hitched. She snatched the phone from my hand, her eyes glued to the two small figures on the screen. Who are you, lady? Can you give the phone back to our daddy? My son, Max, asked, looking curiously at the strange woman on the other end. Isabella's breathing grew ragged, her hands shaking. Who is your father? Daddy is. Daddy, Max replied, confused. You're so silly, big brother, my daughter, Mia, piped up, shaking her little fists. Daddy's name is Ethan Hayes. Crash. The phone hit the pavement, the screen going black. The invisible on-screen comments, however, exploded. Whoa, hold up. What is happening? Did the female lead just get cheated on? Don't jump to conclusions. You all forgot this is a Wyndham backstory, right? The kids are just an obstacle the author threw in. Maybe it's a test for her. OMG, those babies are so cute. They look like little dumplings. I want to squeeze them. My only thought was for my kids. I hope they weren't scared by the sudden hang-up. I moved to pick up my phone, but Isabella stomped on it, grinding the screen into a spiderweb of cracks with her heel. I don't believe in hitting women, but there's a limit to anyone's patience. Slap. The sound was sharp and clear in the sudden silence. Isabella stared at me, her eyes wide with disbelief. Ethan, you dare to hit me? Her voice rose to a shriek. For two little bastards, you actually hit me? Slap. I hit her again. She stumbled back 2 steps, falling into Leo's arms, and screamed. You go on and on about Leo having ulterior motives, but what about you? You betrayed me. You were out screwing some tramp. Tell me who she is, she screeched, her voice hysterical. Who is the bitch who dared to seduce my man? I'll make her wish she was never born. Looking at the unhinged woman before me, I began to seriously question my own past judgment. A long overdue declaration of love is worth less than dirt, especially a toxic, suffocating love like this. When I didn't answer, a new, horrifying thought seemed to dawn on her. She looked at me with utter contempt. Ethan, don't tell me you were selling yourself for money? And when your sugar mama got tired of you, she just dumped her 2 brats on you and ran? Leo seized the opportunity to chime in. Ethan, how could you have so little self-respect? Isabella waited 5 agonizing years for you. Is this how you repay her? He puffed out his chest. You're not worthy of her. I thought letting you 2 be together would make her happy, but now I won't let her go. Isabella's loyal friends started in again. Isabella, you can't have a shameless, dirty man like that. Letting him marry into the family would be a joke. Let him go. Only Leo's devotion is worthy of the wedding of the century you've planned. Isabella closed her eyes, her brow furrowed in thought. A moment later, she opened them, her expression clear. She took Leo's hand, lacing their fingers together. In 3 days, she announced to the crowd, I invite you all to Crestview Manor for my wedding to Leo. Leo's face flushed with excitement. He shot me a triumphant glare, as if to say, see? You can't beat me. Isabella looked at me, her eyes a complex mix of emotions. Ethan, the man walking down the aisle with me, was supposed to be you, but you didn't cherish it. You messed around, and the Vance family cannot accept a son-in-law like you. So, I can't keep my promise from all those years ago. And even though you brought all of this on yourself, I just can't seem to let you go. She sighed, her voice tinged with bitterness. We were childhood sweethearts. I never thought it would come to this. You're counting on the fact that I still love you, that I'm powerless against you, aren't you? Ethan, you have no heart. Her voice broke into a choked whisper. But why? Why can't I let you go? She looked at me, her eyes pleading. Ethan, you're no longer worthy of being my husband, but I'm willing to keep a place for you. If you get rid of those 2 bastards, I can accept you back into my life. She glanced at Leo. Leo is understanding and generous. As long as you behave, he will tolerate you. I almost laughed out loud. The sheer audacity. She wanted me to be her mistress? A flash of hatred crossed Leo's eyes, but he quickly masked it with a magnanimous expression. Ethan, this is your last chance. If you're willing to turn over a new leaf and serve Isabella by my side, I am willing to forgive and forget. I gave a cold, sharp laugh. First, I am not getting rid of my children, and I want nothing to do with Isabella Vance. Second, Mr. Sterling, you can stop seeing me as a rival. I have no intention of fighting you for her. If you want to be her lapdog, that's your business. And third, I sincerely wish you 2 a long and happy life together. May you have many children. Isabella, convinced I was just being stubborn, said with forced patience, All right, everyone, let's not stand around in the doorway. Let's go to our table. She looked at me. Ethan, you always loved Aria's truffle risotto and the pan-seared scallops. I'll order them for you. Now stop being difficult. My patience is wearing thin. The on-screen text flickered. I think the plot is getting weird. The female lead doesn't seem to understand human language. It's not just her. The sidekick and all her friends are just as dense. I feel so bad for the male lead. A sane person trapped with a bunch of lunatics. It must be exhausting. I never thought I'd find myself in a situation where I had to prove I wasn't in love with Isabella Vance. Not wanting to prolong the farce, I turned and walked away. Leo's voice, tinged with glee, floated after me. Where is Ethan going? Is he not happy with your arrangements, Isabella? He's just ashamed to face us. Forget him. We'll eat by ourselves. I'll have Chris pack up his favorites and send them to him later. Isabella's voice faded behind me, but I didn't look back. By the time I got home, the sun was setting. Chris, her assistant, was waiting at my gate. He saw my car and placed a takeout container on the ground directly in my path. The bag was emblazoned with the Aria logo, and the rich aroma of food wafted from it. Take it away, I said coldly. Chris sneered. Ethan, you're just Ms. Vance's lover now. What right do you have to defy her? I suggest you pick up the food she so graciously sent you and stop pissing her off. Otherwise, you might not even get these scraps next time. Get lost, I said, and with a single kick, I sent the container flying. I walked past him into the villa without a second glance. The next day, I found a familiar gold embossed invitation on my doorstep. It must have been left by Chris. Groom, Leo Sterling. Bride, Isabella Vance. I pressed my fingers to my forehead. Did she really want me at her wedding that badly? Fine. I'd give her what she wanted. Crestview Manor was a sprawling, 10,000-acre estate nestled between rolling hills and the ocean, a picturesque paradise straight out of a painting. I had once dreamed of having a magical wedding with the love of my life here. That dream had already come true. In fact, I had bought Crestview Manor and given it to my wife as a wedding gift. From that day on, I opened the estate to host one free wedding a month for a couple chosen by lottery. After a little digging, I found out that this month's winners were the result of an inside job. Someone on my staff had been paid off to give the spot to Isabella. I instructed the manor's manager to proceed with the arrangements as planned. I was going to make sure Isabella had a wedding she would never forget. 2 days passed in a blur. The ceremony was set to take place on the island in the center of the estate's lake. The attendant at the entrance checked my invitation and immediately blocked my path. Mr. Hayes, this is a special invitation. The groom specifically instructed us that you were to wait outside until after the ring exchange. Only then may you enter. Was Leo really that afraid I'd steal his place as the groom marrying into the family? I kept walking. The attendant scrambled after me, trying to grab my arm. Another staff member pulled him back. Are you crazy? That suit, Mr. Hayes is wearing is worth over $300,000. Hearing this, the attendant froze, his face paling. He scurried back to his post. The island was filled with guests, mingling in small groups, talking business or laughing over champagne. Leo had been on edge all morning, a nervous twitch in his eye. Even though he'd ordered the staff to keep me out, his gaze kept darting toward the entrance. The moment I set foot on the island, his eyes locked onto me. Who is that? He has such an amazing presence. He's gorgeous, way more handsome than the groom. Seeing all eyes turn to me, ignoring him, the actual star of the show, Leo seethed. He stormed over to me. How did you get in? Didn't you invite me? I retorted sarcastically. His voice rose. I specifically told them, why are you so afraid of me being here? I cut him off. Are you worried Isabella will change her mind and leave you at the altar? He was speechless, his face turning an ugly shade of red. Why would I be afraid of you? I just don't think you deserve to be here, tainting my and Isabella's pure wedding. Security, get him out of here. 2 security guards approached, recognized me instantly, and stopped. As per my prior instructions, they didn't reveal my identity, but they also made no move to follow Leo's orders. It was laughable. Who would dare throw the owner out of his own property? Seeing them stand motionless, Leo's face contorted with rage. What are you two doing? I'm ordering you to throw him out. Right now. Immediately, or I'll have you both fired. Sir, one of the guards said calmly, I believe you're mistaken. We are employees of Crestview Manor. We do not report to you. Leo's face went from red to purple. Do you know who the Vance Corporation is? I am marrying into the Vance family. If you disrespect me, I'll make sure you regret it. Sir, please do not cause a disturbance. Otherwise, we reserve the right to revoke use of the venue and blacklist the Vance Corporation from all future events. That's enough. What do you think you look like, causing a scene in front of everyone? The commotion had drawn Isabella's attention. Seeing Leo arguing with the manor security, she rushed over to intervene. Leo, it seems your humble beginnings are truly a handicap. You have no class. Don't you realize that after today, your every action reflects on the Vance family? I expect you to integrate into high society, not embarrass us. Seeing that Isabella was genuinely angry, Leo started frantically rubbing her shoulders and back, whispering apologies. Isabella, I didn't mean to. It's these security guards, they wouldn't listen. Isabella covered his mouth, her expression grim. Watch what you say. The power behind Crestview Manor is rumored to be the Pei family. Leo's face went white. The legendary Pei family. Yes, the top of the top, the most powerful family in the country. Now do you understand why I told you to be careful? Our little Vance Corporation is nothing to them. They could crush us without a second thought. Hearing Isabella gravely lecture Leo about the Pei family, I couldn't help but let out a snort of laughter. She turned to me, and for a second, a look of genuine admiration crossed her face. Ethan, you look incredible in that suit. Leo cleared his throat pointedly, and she snapped back to reality. I'm getting married today, she said, a hint of sadness in her voice. It's a shame the groom isn't you. She looked at me, her eyes intense. But in my heart, you will always hold the most important place. You say you don't care, but I know you still love me. Otherwise, with your temper, you wouldn't have even shown up today. I held up a hand to stop her. If that's what you need to believe, I can't stop you, I said with a tight, false smile. But for the record, I thank my lucky stars every day that I didn't marry you. I was about to turn away when two small children came barreling toward me like little cannonballs, yelling, Daddy, Max and Mia are here. The first genuine smile I'd had in days spread across my face. I knelt, catching the two little bundles of energy in my arms, one on each side, and planted a kiss on each of their foreheads. Max, Mia, who brought you here? Grandma, they chorused. Just then, my mother came hurrying over, slightly out of breath. You two little rascals, slow down. I was about to ask where their mother was when Isabella's voice cut in. Mrs. Hayes, is Ethan really married? My mother, looking utterly exasperated, still maintained a sliver of politeness. She had doted on Isabella when she was a sweet little girl, but after the incident 5 years ago, that affection had curdled. Yes, he is, my mother replied, her tone cool and distant. She clearly hoped Isabella would take the hint and leave. Instead, Isabella stepped closer, her eyes welling up in front of my mother. Mrs. Hayes, please don't help Ethan lie to me. Even after 5 years apart, Ethan and I are still deeply in love. I hope you'll give us your blessing. My mother was stunned, her mind racing. Today is your wedding day to that. Leo person, what are you doing dragging my son into this? You may have no shame, but the Hayes family does. Isabella grabbed my mother's hands, her voice pleading. Even if I marry Leo, Ethan and I can still be together. My mother's eyes widened in horror. Isabella, have you lost your mind? You want my son to be your secret lover. Who dares to have designs on my husband? The voice was calm, but it carried an authority that silenced the entire gathering. The on-screen comments went wild. HOLY crap, what was that? Total boss-level entrance. Did you guys see that? The female lead tag over Isabella's head just vanished. Wait, the female lead's name just changed to Serafina Pei. Serafina Pei, my wife, glided toward us, every movement exuding an aura of innate grace and power. The crowd stared, mesmerized. I reached out, wrapping an arm around her, my hand resting gently on the small of her back, staking my claim. Who is SHE? Isabella shrieked, her face a mask of fury as she pointed at Serafina. The answer was painfully obvious, but she still had to ask. Serafina gently tugged on my tie. I smiled and leaned down. Her lips were inches from mine, and I closed the distance, kissing her deeply. A soft blush colored her cheeks. When we parted, she turned to Isabella and said simply, I'm his wife, Serafina Pei. Isabella's pupils contracted as if she'd been struck. No, Ethan, she's lying, right? She pleaded, turning to me. The person you've always loved is me, only me, right? Her eyes hardened with a crazed determination. I will win you back from her. A flash of scarlet hatred, sharp as a blade, shot from her eyes towards Serafina. Isabella, you're wrong, I said, my voice firm. Whatever we had ended 5 years ago. Now, there's only one person in my heart and in my eyes. And that's Serafina. I shifted slightly, positioning myself in front of my wife. I heard her let out two soft, amused chuckles behind me and felt a wave of relief. My wife had a jealous streak, and if she let her imagination run wild, I'd be spending the night on my knees on a bed of Legos. Isabella froze, then roared. I don't believe you. Prove it to me. Mommy, that lady is scary. She looks like a monster that eats children, Max whispered, clinging to Serafina's leg and peeking out from behind her. Silly brother, Mia said, tilting her head up and pointing a tiny finger at Isabella. Dr. Williams said there are no such things as monsters. She's just having what he calls a psychotic episode. I chuckled. Do I really need to prove it? Max and Mia were miniature versions of Serafina. Anyone with eyes could see we were a family of four. Seeing Isabella still fixated on me, Leo wrapped his arms around her tightly. Isabella, he said with deep emotion, he's already teamed up with this other woman to humiliate you. Are you going to let him continue to trample on your heart? Another woman. I don't think I've ever been called that before, Serafina mused, a dangerous glint in her eyes. Perhaps I've been away from the States for too long. People seem to have forgotten my name. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Oh my God, she's a Serafina Pei, the head of the Pei dynasty, the one with the iron fist. I saw her once from a distance at a summit. The aura, the presence. It's her, and that distinguished-looking man. Mr. Hayes. He's Serafina, Pei's husband. They're a perfect match. Isabella's face was frozen, her lips moving silently. Impossible, impossible, she whispered, stumbling backward. With a deafening crash, she collided with the 8-tier champagne tower behind her. Glass rained down in a cascade of glittering destruction. Champagne and shards of crystal flew everywhere. Isabella was drenched, a pathetic dripping mess. You disgraceful girl. Are you trying to ruin this family? A man bellowed, striding through the crowd. It was her father. I put the company in your hands, and this is the disaster you create? Get over here and apologize to Ms. Pei this instant. Mr. Vance looked like he might have a stroke. In the short time he'd been gone, his daughter had managed to offend the one person you simply did not offend. Ms. Pei, my daughter was blind and foolish. Please, you are a magnanimous person. Forgive her this once. Mr. Vance, a man who had stood proud his entire life, was now stooped, begging for mercy. Dad, don't beg her. She's a fake. She has to be slapped. Mr. Vance struck his daughter with all his might, leaving a dark, purple handprint on her cheek. You insolent creature. Kneel. Apologize to Ms. Pei and Mr. Hayes. Her father's reaction shattered the last of Isabella's delusions. Her legs gave out, and she collapsed her knees before us, her eyes filled with humiliation, her face ashen. Ms. Pei, Mr. Hayes, I was a fool. I offended you. Please forgive me. It's fine, I said coolly. Just stay out of my sight from now on. I took Serafina's hand and motioned for the children to follow. We were leaving. My original plan had been to reveal my identity during the ceremony and have them thrown out of Crestview Manor. But with Serafina's unexpected arrival and Mr. Vance's terrified groveling, my goal had been accomplished. In my eyes, Isabella was now nothing more than an irrelevant, pathetic clown. I couldn't care less what happened to her. Leo rushed to Isabella's side, holding her close. Isabella, you still have me. I'll always be with you, always. All you have to do is turn around, and I'll be right behind you. Suddenly, the classical music playing over the venue's speakers dissolved into a burst of static. A moment later, Leo's voice, smug and arrogant, filled the air. Ethan Hayes? So what if he was born rich? He's still a loser who ran away from me. All I have to do is squeeze out a few tears, and Isabella believes anything I say. He had to pack his bags and flee the country. The recording continued. That idiot Isabella really thinks I'm madly in love with her. If it wasn't for her family's money, you think I'd waste my time playing this part? Please. Haha, it's hilarious. She still thinks she accidentally killed my grandmother. I've been targeting her for weeks. I sent my grandma out there to stage an accident, and I couldn't have asked for a better mark. If I wasn't going to scam her, who would I scam? Isabella looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. She grabbed Leo's wrist, her nails digging deep into his flesh. Your kindness, your gentleness. It was all an act, she hissed. You bastard. You've been lying to me, using me for my money this whole time. Leo tried desperately to explain. No, Isabella, that's not true. This is all a setup by Ethan to frame me. Think about the 5 years we had together. My love for you is real. Isabella refused to listen. You're probably still laughing at what a fool I am, right? She screamed. Letting a piece of trash like you play me for 5 years. If you hadn't turned me against him, I never would have misunderstood Ethan. Without you, Ethan would have never left me. Leo's wrist was bleeding where she clawed him. Spurred by the malice in her eyes, he dropped all pretense. That's right, you are a moron, he sneered. If you weren't born rich, you think I'd give you the time of day? I coddled you for 5 years. Even a dog would have shown some loyalty by now. But you? You kept me on a string while still planning to have Ethan marry into your family. You're disgusting, Isabella. Shut up. You shut your mouth. Isabella lunged, her hands closing around his throat. She had gone completely insane. Leo tore her hands away and clamped his own around her neck. As she struggled for air, her nails clawing at his face, she gathered all her strength and kicked him hard between the legs. Arg! Leo crumpled, his scream of agony echoing across the island as he fell backward into the pile of broken champagne glasses, writhing in pain. At my signal, security guards rushed forward and restrained the still raging Isabella. Why stop them? Dog eat dog is always so entertaining, Serafina whispered in my ear. I sighed. I already suspected the perfectly timed audio recording was her handiwork. This is where we got married, I reminded her gently. Let's not get it dirty. A satisfied smile played on Serafina's lips. As long as you're not feeling sorry for your ex-girlfriend, she purred. I laughed. Is she even worthy of your jealousy? You know very well there aren't many people who can capture my attention. I knew my husband only has eyes for me, she murmured, her gaze soft and inviting. I leaned in and captured her lips with mine. My mother quickly covered the children's eyes. Oh my, not for little eyes. Max, Mia, don't look. The on-screen text reappeared. I remember the original story's ending. Ethan forgives Isabella, and they live happily ever after. She was the female lead. How'd she get written off like this? A toxic person like her doesn't deserve to be the lead. Maybe the author rewrote it. Serafina and the male lead are the perfect match. OMG, all I can think about is that sweet kiss. I'm setting up camp and waiting for the spicy scenes to come. LOL. Seconded. +1 seconded. +2 seconded. +10086. Restrained by the guards, Isabella suddenly went rigid, her eyes wide as if she were seeing something unbelievable. Her expression went from blank to one of dawning, triumphant realization. A bright, manic light flared in her eyes. Ha ha, I'm the main character. I am the main character. Isabella laughed hysterically. With a surge of adrenaline, she broke free from the guards and charged toward Serafina and me. Security swarmed her again, holding her back. I'm a chosen one, the master of this world. All of you extras, get out of my way. Isabella shouted, her eyes wild. She then turned her gaze to me. Ethan, come here. I can forgive you this one time. I realized with a jolt. She could see the on-screen comments now, too. I'll handle this, Serafina said, her playful demeanor gone, replaced by a gaze as cold and sharp as ice. The two women faced off. Isabella, like a crazed tiger, launched herself at Serafina. Serafina's expression didn't change. With a calm, fluid motion, she raised her leg and kicked Isabella squarely in the chest, sending her flying. Isabella scrambled to her feet. Serafina kicked her again. Get up, get kicked down. After the third time, Isabella lay on the ground like a broken doll, gasping for breath. Serafina planted her high heel firmly on Isabella's face. The leading lady in Ethan's life, she said, her voice dangerously soft, can only be me. Now get lost. Serafina removed her foot, pulled a silk handkerchief from her purse, wiped her hands, and tossed it onto Isabella's face. It took me a second to process. Honey, I whispered. You can see them too? Shoo, Serafina said with a playful smile. They just appeared for me a minute ago. I leaned in, my lips brushing her ear. They said, they want to see the spicy scenes. She covered my mouth, her eyes flashing a silent warning. You are in so much trouble when we get home. But in the end, she wasn't the one dishing out the punishment. The next morning, I was feeling refreshed and content, enjoying the breakfast Serafina had made for me. She casually mentioned that after we left, Leo had taunted Isabella, calling her a washed-up loser. In a fit of rage, Isabella had used a shard of glass to permanently neutralize him. The police had arrived and arrested them both. The farce was finally over. Not long after, the Vance Corporation, buried under a mountain of debt, declared bankruptcy. A furious Mr. Vance publicly disowned his disgraceful daughter. Leo sued Isabella for aggravated assault, and she countersued him for fraud. They both ended up in prison. I looked at Serafina nestled in my arms, at Max hugging my left leg, and Mia clinging to my right. A loving wife, happy kids, and a warm home. This life was more than enough.